It's the Brian and Kendra Show with Brian Cook and Kendra Cox of Keller Williams Realty Elite.
I am Kendra Cox.
I'm Brian Cook.
Between the two of us, we have over 30 years of experience.
Sharing real estate tips and advice. Right here on Classic Hits 1073.
Hey, we're back. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of ways to make mistakes when you renovate your house.
Can I change the subject for 1 minute?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking the other day, somebody had come in and said, hey, we're almost ready to list. We have 2 or 3 more things to do, actually, some renovations. And they were almost finished. And she said, should I hold off on my Christmas tree? And I said, yes. Let's talk about that super, super fast. If you were thinking about selling your house and like you're going to list it like next week, hold off. Don't put up your Christmas decorations yet. Let us get pictures first.
Yes, true.
Right?
I didn't think about the pictures. I was like, why are you telling them, let them celebrate? But
because
it makes sense, yes.
So, I mean, it would be awesome if we sold your house in the next 30 days, and it wouldn't matter if you had Christmas trees in your pictures. But come January, we don't want everybody looking at your Christmas decorations. Especially, I mean, what if it takes until March? Then they're like, oh my gosh, this has been on the market forever. It's really not forever, but it's not as good with the marketing.
Right.
So just a little shout out. If you know you're going to list like next week, hold off on your Christmas tree. Otherwise, go ahead and head on down to Pine and Fir. Just kidding. It wasn't really a segue or a commercial. I just thought of it. But I thought it was it was a good question. I think the other thing is, I don't know the answer. Some people have said, well, should I decrease how much I do? I don't know the answer. What do you think on the whole decorating?
I think you want to make your house feel homey and lively. And I think I like decorated houses. I think
the concern is unpacking and repacking it. Mm-hmm. But technically, I mean, you have to do it anyway. So
right,
what's the difference,
That's right? When you pack it up this time, just leave it packed.
Right. So anyway.
Just when you put your Christmas lights on your roof, don't put staples in your roof.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, what is that, Christmas Vacation?
Kidding.
Every time I watch that, I thought, oh, it just makes me hurt. He's put staples in his roof. Crazy. So.
Okay. All right. Now we can go on to our real thing. So we're going to talk about common renovation mistakes.
Yes.
And how to avoid them is really what we want to talk about. So here's what's funny. I had printed something. I had 4 mistakes, and I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. And I like my mistakes. You print like 50.
Yeah.
Oh, my Atlanta.
I don't know where to stop.
No, you don't know where to stop, do you? Where do you want to start?
One's great, 50's better.
I want to start with budget.
Okay. Budget's the number one. I bet that's it. Oh, yes, look, it's number one on both of them. Nope, it's not.
It's not, and we're going to do my number 1 next. But so your number 1 was setting an unrealistic budget, which is perfect for you because you're always budget.
Yep. I don't know what that means really. I just say it and act like I'm doing it.
It says it to everybody else. Do you abide by a budget?
Yes. So number 2.
All right. So so here's the deal. And I say this with building houses too. So I've never heard anyone be like, yeah, I built my house and it was a lot less money than I thought it would be. And I've really not heard anybody say, yeah, we renovated the kitchen and we didn't spend half the money that we thought. Nobody ever says that.
Nobody ever says that.
We always spend more than we think we're going to. And it's hard to, I don't know that that's a problem or a flaw particularly. I think that there's just things that are unavoidable that happen.
Yes.
So how much do you think that one should budget over?
It depends on what your financial standing is. So for example, if I'm remodeling, like when I started remodeling my office, I budgeted a number and then I added 25%, thinking, okay, this is it.
So 25%
is what I did. Mm-hmm. And we actually came in really close to that. But then I did just like when we got close to the end, I'm like, man, I'm just barely over budget. There's $20,000. Bam, put in a new pergola and then, better shingles and better windows. And so I went ahead. I budgeted the 25%. I think I actually spent it.
Well,
but I as I got close to my budget and close to the end of the project, mm-hmm. I thought, hey, this is my one shot to do this. And the decisions I made, I believe, helped the value of the property and the usability of it. So we was talking to some customers that built a new house. Mm-hmm. He said they only went $4,000 over budget.
That's
on like
amazing.
I would guess $400,000 house.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Way impressed. And he said, it was my fault. I was like,
how funny.
he goes, yeah, because
He didn't blame it on his wife?
No, he said.
What a good guy.
Basically, he said, when I got in and I was shopping for like an oven, and we had $2,000 in budget, but I found a $8,000 range for $4,000, I bought it.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, sometimes the budget-minded people miss the great
Right.
upgrades
Right.
that will enhance his house when he ever goes to sell it.
Absolutely.
Which I tried, but he wasn't quite ready. I mean, he's been there 60 days. But hey, I'm pushing.
I saw his wife and his daughter on Saturday, and I asked if they were ready to move. The daughter is like, really? Because last time, remember, she came home from school. We told her she was in middle school at the time. Hey, just walk on over to the office. Why? Brian sold our house today. That's a fun story. Okay, moving on. Number 2. So you kind of alluded to this a minute ago. You said that part of what you budgeted was for things that would enhance the value of the property. And that's a common mistake is choosing the wrong project.
Right.
So you want to choose a project that is going to increase the value of your home. Every time I say that, I just don't even, I choke almost because supposedly you're like, don't yell at me on public radio, okay? We always say things like, oh, kitchens and bathrooms, that's where the money is. That's where you want to put your money. But I can't really promise a guy if he upgrades his kitchen or his bathroom that he's going to get every dime back. So I think that that's a really tricky thing to say.
We have to analyze it.
Here. What do you
think?
think?
So, I mean, it goes back. I mean, right. It goes back to a lot of the upgrades we make in our house are for our usability and enjoyment. So if you put a new kitchen in, you better do it because you want it. It will probably help the sellability of your home. It will sell faster. Generally, in a kitchen remodel, you get your money back, but that doesn't make you money. So if you spend $10,000, I mean, if you within reason, you have a $200,000 house, you spend $20,000 on your new kitchen, it will genuinely get you the $20,000 back, and it will sell faster, but it might not get you $25,000 more.
Right.
You may not make money doing it because you are replacing a kitchen. You have a kitchen that's functional,
right,
and then you replace it. So
it's always, and I don't know how to explain that even sometimes, but here's the deal: the appraiser expects a kitchen, period.
Yes. Yeah.
So whenever he goes to appraise the house,
but when they appraise that one on Kansas, it's got 2.
My brother listed a house. Can we go ahead and go there?
Sure.
So here's what's funny: what you don't know. I was going through the pictures. So my brother works for a different company. Mm-hmm. So I was going through the new listings and just trying to keep myself, in the game, what's going on out there. And so brand new listing, and it was my brother. And so I'm looking at the pictures. Like usually I just kind of skim it, but this time like I'm really looking because, it's fun. So I text him because I see this sink, what appears to be a kitchen sink, and then I see another that appears to be the kitchen sink. Mm-hmm. I text him, assuming really that one is probably the utility room. Mm-hmm. But I text him tongue in cheek and say, hey, Bob, does this house have 2 kitchens? No. One of them is updated and the other one was original. Right. I thought he had the wrong picture. Right. I thought he had a different house kitchen plugged into this particular listing. So I said, hey, Bob, this house got 2 kitchens? And he goes, of course it does. Well, if you know my brother, you don't know if he's serious or not still. And I'm like, oh, heck. So I text him again. I'm like, oh, right. That's probably that big utility room you mentioned in your write-up. And he goes, no, it really has 2 kitchens. And it does. Well, I'm still thinking like maybe one's like, no, they are right next to each other.
Yes.
Like it's awesome. Literally though, like if you have ever cooked with somebody else in your kitchen, this is perfect.
You can be like, kitchen.
I mean, for reals, like this is yours, and this, like me and my daughter, we cannot cook at the same time. So it'd be like, hey, Anya, that's your kitchen, and this is my kitchen. It's perfect.
Perfect. So the quick story is the husband built the house, built this new kitchen for his wife.
How much extra are they going to get out of that?
Yeah, nothing. Built the kitchen for his wife and just never gutted the old one.
Well, it was really sweet. He had promised her a big kitchen for years and years and years. He was able to do it, and then failing health, and he was not able to complete removing the other one. So anyway, fun story, hilarious. But all of that to say, it is important to pay attention to where you put your money. Right. So let's talk about that. Whenever you're ready to make the renovations to your house, we want you to talk to us before you do. If you know you're going to sell, call us. We would be happy. We don't care if it's 10 years.
Right.
We'd be happy to come and look at your house and tell you what we think and to share information that we see right now. Another thing is don't go too trendy. So we were talking about this today. I love bright colors. Love, 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 love bright colors. When I move out of my house, you will not know I love bright colors.
Nope.
Except for my front door.
You're not going to paint your front door? You're going to leave it?
Yes, because people like it. Your face, that's not nice. Okay, so I'd sent a picture to a friend a long time ago, right after I painted the door. I'm like, hey, look what I did to my house. And he texts back, oh, dear Lord, who let you have paint? So he was in town last week, and I drove him by. I'm like, no, really, look. And he goes, I can't believe I'm saying this, but that looks really good. And he's he is happy to be critical of me. It looks good. Yellow looks good with gray.
It looks great.
It does. But the interior of my home is very neutral.
Yep.
Very, very, very neutral. Like boring neutral. My color comes with my divan and with my yellow pillows or whatever. Mm-hmm. It comes with the stuff I put on my walls. It doesn't come on my walls. Right. So, no, not that that's bad. But like kitchen countertops. You described a kitchen to me today that was a really colorful countertop and a complementary color on the cabinets, but also very vibrant. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd love it.
It's great.
It would be a tough sell.
It would be tough to sell.
It would be a tough sell.
Back to 3% of the people love that color. There's your target market.
Yeah, I'm 1% of them, and I can't afford that house.
Right. So yeah, you got to be So neutral, tone down your colors. But so yeah, when you go to remodel, make sure you're not. The next one says really going too big or too crazy. You could put that out there. No, too wild because. So, for example, we looked at a house today that's almost 3,000 square foot in a neighborhood of 1,200 to 1,500 square foot houses.
Right. Right.
And they, Zillow just spits out numbers. Thank the Lord that's people that don't listen to them. But they do, but they shouldn't. They should call us first. So Zillow basically just takes an average of a circle within a half a mile of their house. So they incorporate all these little houses that, have brought decent money per square foot and added it to this gigantic house and said this house in a $100 to $150,000 neighborhoods were $300,000.
I think the house a couple of doors down and across the street just sold for like $110,000. Mm-hmm. So that's the neighborhood we're talking about is $110,000 compared to this huge house. It's tough, man. That's tough.
Right.
When I worked those numbers today, I felt like a jerk.
Yeah.
Did you look at my numbers?
I did. I looked at them and I thought, we get fired. We're going to get fired. Going to get fired.
I felt terrible. But I don't think that I think they were a little bit low. But I think that my number is probably considerably lower than what one would hope with a house of that square footage.
Right. Well, and it comes back to they did an amazing job on on the
nice.
house.
Mm-hmm.
They've done a good job. So we did some discussing on things they should add. They chose to build some outdoor living space,
which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Instead of a garage. So now we've got.
So it's tricky though, because the garage is really where the money is.
Yeah, your garage right now is very valuable, as is outdoor living space is very valuable. But you get over $150,000. If you don't have a garage, you lose a whole bunch of your buyers. So when I say, this is going back to the going too big, that house is way too big. Don't go add 1,000 square foot to your house.
Now, and they didn't add that square footage.
No, they bought
that was already there. And then they just made it really, really attractive.
Right.
Somebody else had added on too much for the neighborhood in the past. Okay, so next up. And this is one that I had on my brain all day long, trying something DIY when you shouldn't. And because we were at that house, because we had talked about, not because the house was not done well, but because when we were there, we were discussing the differences of painting versus staining cabinets. Mm-hmm. And they said a lot of people choose to paint because it's easier than stain. But if you don't know what you're doing painting, don't do it.
Right.
And I'm picking on that because usually whenever we say, do some of your projects by yourself, save you some money, we immediately think painting.
But cabinet paintings.
But man, you really need to research and figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. Painting wood cabinets is, it's very, you really need to spray them. You don't need to roll them there's some touches. There's some stuff there. like lacquer and all that. Well, it's all different. So yeah, do your research when you get ready to do your DIY stuff, like laying tile. I've done a ton of this stuff, so call me. I'll give you some tips. We'll get you connected with somebody.
I'll just help you take down your wallpaper.
Yes. Yeah. So I got a house for you. All right, let's take a quick break so I can discuss this house with wallpaper in it.
We'll be right back.
Hey, we're back discussing Kendra's chaos.
You guys, I don't know. Okay.
Affirmations. Come on, people.
Brian, you told me last month that I had to put in something into our buyer's guide, and I was like, absolutely not. And
Every agent has. You're the last that hasn't.
Yeah, and I was like, I threw a little fit,
Mm-hmm.
and I.
Yep, you did.
Sam said, we'll do, I think she kind of was like, I'm not messing with her. She said, I'll just do Jared this month and we could do Kendra in December. And I thought, oh, sweet, they're going to forget.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you did forget until I saw the buyer's guide and there was a blank page.
Yep.
Well,
So
I did
you
it
guys
my
will
way.
not want to miss the buyer's guide. Potentially last and final episode. So number one, if you like the buyer's guide and you really like use it to house shop,
For reals.
like,
Please
it's
text
not like a
me or
phone
call me.
book. Like things are going out of style. We're trying to leverage our finance budget to put our marketing out in the best light to help our customers and us as well. So if it's one of those things, please call us and let us know. Give us your feedback on that. So back to all of this, common renovation mistakes. We make so many mistakes when we do renovating because sometimes we just jump into it. It's really important to make a good plan, work on a budget, get some estimates, get some professional advice.
For sure. Professional.
We don't mind coming out. We don't mind hooking you up with the correct people. We've got lots of we have lots of contacts.
And we
contacts.
have a lot of information just from our own backgrounds.
Yes. So I've remodeled lots of houses. I've got a full-time handyman guy that's too busy to work on my own stuff, but yeah, and he's pretty smart at fixing stuff, and we just got lots of connections. We want to make sure you do it right. We want you to leverage your money, leverage your budget, enjoy your house. Don't live with a very expensive mistake. So, yeah, don't hesitate to give us a shout anytime. My number, 580-334-2303.
And I'm 580-216-0090.